So with all the weddings that we film, every once in a while we have couples come back to us and say, oh, I wish I would have done this differently. So we're gonna relay that info to you. Here are the top 5 wedding regrets we heard this year. Counting down from number 5, I wish I would have hired a day of coordinator. 20% of brides in 2017 said they wish they would have booked or spent more on a day of coordinator. So in an era of DIY and YouTube tutorials, it's really easy to think that you could just plan your way to a perfect wedding. And sometimes it happens that way. But look, you're gonna need somebody who's gonna know how to cut a cake. You're gonna need somebody to give the order to the DJ and make sure they stick to it. You're gonna need somebody to make sure your vendors get paid. What normally winds up happening when couples don't get a day of coordinator is that responsibility still falls to somebody. Us, the videographer, the photographer, the DJ, or even worse yet, your family wind up taking care of this stuff that really should be delegated to somebody whose job it is. Number 4, I worried too much. Kind of along the same lines as a wedding coordinator. Look, whether you hired a professional photographer or didn't, hired a professional videographer, florist, none of that matters. In the end, you just gotta enjoy your day. So go ahead and just prepare yourself that something may not go 100% according to plan. And then don't stress about it. That being said, if you were still a little bit worried at the prospect of something going awry, if you didn't hire a day of coordinator, maybe delegate that to, your maid of honor, your best man, or your mother-in-law. Find somebody whose responsibility it can be to just supervise. Number 3, we should have done a money dance. So this is a 100% yes, you should definitely do this. Whether you need some money for the honeymoon or you need to furnish that newlywed apartment, a money dance is the way to go. Plus, this is a great way to socialize and visit with those guests, the family and friends who you don't see that often, because trust me, it's kind of hard to get around to everybody on the day of. On top of all that, you're gonna have family coming in from out of town or friends coming in from out of town, and it's really hard for them to lug a gift all the way to your wedding, especially if they're flying or if they have to pack a whole bunch of luggage. But you know what's not difficult to transport? Cash. Side note, serious bonus points if your venue has an ATM on site. Number 2, I should have hired or spent more on a videographer. So Zola sent out this survey to a ton of couples last year in 2017, and on that survey they asked a whole bunch of questions. What did you like? What did you not like? What do you wish you spent more money on, less money on? On that survey, the number 1 thing that people wish they would have spent more money on or booked in the first place was a videographer. Now, I get it, I'm biased because I'm a wedding videographer, that's my full-time job, but I cannot begin to tell you how many couples we have who don't book us, who come back to us later and they say, oh, I wish I would have booked you because our videographer lost our footage, or they didn't license our music properly and we can't post it on Facebook, or they're still editing it and it's been a year. The common denominator between all of those is not that they didn't hire us, it's that they didn't hire a professional at all. They got somebody to do it for free, they got somebody to do it for cheap, or it was a family friend. Here's the thing though, I'm not dogging on newbies. I was a newbie once, everybody has to start somewhere. What I'm saying though is don't get that family friend and assume that you're gonna get a professional product. But for some people, videography just isn't at the top of their list. So if that's the case, in the end, just spend money on what matters most to you. But it's not all about what you do or don't spend money on your wedding day, which brings me to number 1. I wish we would have had more one-on-one moments. This is your wedding day, not your mom's, not your mother-in-law's, not Uncle Joe who you haven't seen in 6 years. So as hard as it may be for some of your guests to understand, you only get to do this day once. So take every opportunity you can to have those one-on-one moments together. If your videographer and photographer offer to take you aside during the reception, just you two, take it. If anything, you can take this moment to just breathe. Plus, if you get to take some awesome sunset photos, bonus. A good videographer and photographer are gonna know when to give you your space. Long story short from this whole list is, on your wedding day, do the things that matter most to you. I hope this has been helpful in planning your wedding. If you have any questions about wedding planning that you would like answered, please leave us a comment below, and a like if you're feeling extra warm and fuzzy. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all the latest wedding tips and tricks. See you later.